In this video, we're going to begin a new series on creating music. Now, this is all going to be from my perspective. I've written lots of music over the years. Some of it has been traditional in character, some of it's been electronic, some of it's been jazz, and I've used different methods to do that. I'm going to introduce a couple of ways that I use to create music on a regular basis. It's not the same way every time. But in this video, we're going to talk about the first step in creating music, which is capturing ideas. This is probably the most important step in getting started in songwriting. If you like this video today, please go ahead and hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel. Also, please leave a comment below afterwards and you can give me your thoughts on how you capture ideas as well. So let's get started. So the process of capturing ideas is probably the most important part for a new musician to get going and become a songwriter. More often than not, I know lots of young people who say, oh, I've got all these ideas. I've got notepads and I've got notebooks with ideas for lyrics and chords and things that they've played. But when I ask them about where they have all these ideas, they say, well, it's just sort of in my head. Well, I go, okay, well, I can see why that's why you're stuck. You've got to go from the process of having ideas to capturing those ideas so that you can next develop those ideas into more completed pieces of work. One of the worst things you can do is not capture an idea. How many times have you had an idea either in the middle of the night, you're out for a walk, you're someplace, and you're like, oh, this idea is great, but I just haven't got time for it now. The number one rule of capturing ideas is to do it now. No, I mean now. Capture that idea, get it down. Then you can go back and listen to it later. But there are a few steps that we're going to talk about through this video, and we're going to go through each one of those and show what that means. So the steps in terms of capturing the music is you're going to first capture the music in some sort of an audio form on a recorder. Then you're also going to use paper and possibly manuscript paper to make notes about the captured idea, maybe musical fragments. After you've done that, you're going to go ahead and put it onto some sort of a recording system like Pro Tools or GarageBand or something. Then afterwards, before you're finished with your captured idea, you're going to take some notes, the surrounding ideas around your idea, so that when you're done capturing the idea, you'll be able to come back to that idea and go ahead and get started with it. So let's look at the first step. Okay, so you've got a guitar, maybe you're just walking around out in the woods and you've come up with some idea. You're like, I like that set of chords. That might be something worth exploring. So I'd go ahead and grab my phone. I get out my phone and I've got on here a audio recorder that's on my phone. Very simple, and it just records one track, but it's good enough. It has enough quality to it that I can go ahead and hit it and it goes ahead and starts to record whatever my idea is. So I can lay that idea down and then I pause it. The reason I pause it is that sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get that idea out of my head. So I'll pause it and I may play around with the chords for a little bit more and say, oh, well, maybe the intro needs to have just back and forth. Okay, then I'd start the recorder again. I'd add that piece to it. And I'd just keep going on the recorder until I get most of those ideas onto the recorder. So this is my first step. I'm just going to go ahead and capture those ideas and then I get it all out of my head until I feel like, oh, that's all I can do with that one for now. I finish that and then I go ahead and I save this. And I can bring this back to a place that I can go ahead and start to developing this idea. For me, that's down here in Studio 99. So I hightail it back here as fast as I can to finish getting the idea out. It's not just putting it into the recorder. I've got to be able to capture the idea in a way that I can develop it. So our next piece for me is to go ahead and to put that idea down in a way that's more concrete. So let's go to that. So as soon as I get back to Studio 99, I go ahead and I get out my tools. I'm going to listen to my phone and I'm going to replicate what I made on the recording. So I do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put it onto the audio recorder. So let's see what I've actually got on here. I got that down. That's the main idea. If I'd started with a melody, I might have put the melody down first, and then the only other thing is that if I'm wanting to see if I can capture just that essence of it, I've put it onto the recorder already so I can listen to it, then I'm going to use my other tools. I'm going to take my manuscript paper and I'm going to put down bar lines, and then I'm going to put chords to each of the chords that I've added into here. And then I've got that down. At least I've got a chords chart in there. I might also write down the melody if I like to write music. Some of you might not. So you have your recording, which is fine for you to start with. It's your record of what you started with. So I've got that. I've got a little basic chart of just that fragment that I've recorded. And then the last thing I really want to do in this capturing process is that from my audio recorder, I put down a lot of ideas around the song. So I might want to go ahead and write down, this is a song that's going to be in 4/4. It's going to be funky, really fast. And I just, from my recorder, I might try to emulate that. Or even use the drum machine or add a bass part or something. I just want to make sure that on this piece of paper, when I come back here to start to develop this idea, that I have all the ideas on that sheet of paper. So my manuscript, I can use a chart or I can use regular paper. I use a regular piece of paper to write down all the surrounding notes and ideas. And I want to make one other comment here in the capturing process, and that is if I was writing a song with lyrics, and if I'd started with a lyric, it might add a couple of steps to the capturing process. For instance, if I had a couple of words that created some big imagery, I'd put that on that white sheet of paper too. And after I've got the musical part of it down, I would go away and try to capture any initial thoughts about the lyric. So if I was singing about clouds, I might want to do like a word circle. You can see that on the screen here, and any connecting words around it. Anything that I felt like was relevant to that. So I might have clouds, but that might be symbolism for daydreaming. I'm daydreaming about you. Something along that line. But something that's going to capture all those ideas. And I know for me, I can't, if I'm going to write a lyric, I've got to attack it right away when the iron is hot. So I'll go and I'll get away, I'll write as much rhymes as I can on it, and then I will come back to that later. But that's all I want to do in terms of putting things down on these few tools that I have here. And then the very last thing I want to do is I want to set a time as soon as possible after I've captured the idea that I'm going to come back and begin the development process. So in the next video, we're going to talk at length about the development process and what that means. So that's my capturing process here. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit like down below here and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you here, and leave a comment. I'd like to know, what do you do in capturing your ideas as they come to you, as you're inspired? Let me know down below. And until next time, which is going to be part 2 of song development, we'll see you later.